He arrived early because he always did. Early meant useful. Early meant questions could be answered before they became problems. He checked in with the coordinator, confirmed the seating cards, nodded at the florist. Someone asked if the final vendor payment had gone through. He said yes, already thinking about how to word the follow-up email so it sounded like a reminder, not a rebuke. He took his seat near the back. Not hidden, just out of the way. He'd learned where to place himself in rooms like this, visible enough to be counted, distant enough not to interrupt the story others were telling about themselves. The ceremony passed cleanly. Applause rose and fell. He clapped at the right moments. When the couple kissed, he smiled because the photograph would catch it either way. At dinner, plates clinked. Someone leaned over and thanked him for making all this happen, then moved on before he could respond. Another asked if the honeymoon balance was settled. He said it was. He had receipts for everything. He always did. The toast came late. His father liked to be last. The microphone squealed briefly, then steadied. His father's voice filled the room with that practiced warmer half-authority. A few jokes landed. The crowd leaned in. Then the line arrived, tossed lightly, as if it had been waiting its turn. "He's not married and educated," his father said, laughing into the mic. "But at least he's good for a check." The room roared. Not cruelly. Easily. The kind of laughter that happens when people recognize a role and relax into it. He felt the sound move past him, not through him. What he noticed was the timing, the way the laughter peaked and settled, the way his father lifted his glass as if punctuation were necessary. In the half-second after, he understood something with unusual clarity. The silence he'd offered for years had been mistaken for agreement. He stood. It wasn't dramatic. Chairs shifted. A few heads turned. He walked to the mic with the same measured pace he used when speaking to vendors, to banks, to anyone who required calm to proceed. He didn't raise his voice. "You know what?" he said. "You're right." The room stilled, unsure whether to expect another joke. "I'm not family." He continued, looking at his father, then at the tables. "I'm just your wallet." A ripple passed through the guests, not sound, but recalibration. The kind people make when they realize a room has changed shape. He turned to the bride. She was smiling, still frozen in the posture of celebration. "Oh," he added, almost gently. "And that $100,000 wedding gift. Forget it." Someone's fork hit the plate. It rang louder than he expected. He handed the mic back to the coordinator and walked out. No flourish. No closing line. He had learned long ago that endings didn't need emphasis to hold. Outside, the air was cool. He stood by the parking lot lights until his breathing returned to normal. His phone buzzed once, twice. He silenced it. Inside, things tried to continue. Music restarted, thinner than before. Conversations resumed with care. The coordinator found the contracts on her tablet, his name, his signature, the deposits itemized and clear. She stepped aside to make a call. Procedure took over, efficient and indifferent. That was the authority of it, not punishment. Process. The planner approached the bride and groom with practiced neutrality. The venue manager followed. Questions were asked in low voices. Answers were given that did not bend. By the time he drove away, his father was arguing with someone who had no reason to listen. The next day brought messages. First confusion, then anger, then a softer tone that mistook distance for a technical issue. He didn't respond immediately. He sat at his kitchen table and sorted the paperwork he'd already prepared. Accounts separated, standing transfers canceled, responsibilities clarified in writing. He forwarded emails to the appropriate parties. He was precise. He always had been. A week later, he met his brother for coffee. The brother didn't apologize. He said he hadn't realized how things sounded. He said Dad was just joking. He said it was a bad night. "I know," he replied. "It's been a lot of nights." They sat in silence. It wasn't hostile, just complete. After that, the family adjusted. They told a version of the story where the moment was unfortunate but temporary, where money was incidental. He let them. Stories are cheaper than change. He felt lighter, though not triumphant. There was loss in it. He missed the simplicity of being needed, even when it hurt. But the relief was steady, and it didn't fade. Months later, he received a wedding photo in the mail. No note. Just the image. He placed it in a drawer and closed it. What remained wasn't revenge or victory. It was a boundary that finally held, quiet, undeniable, and his.